There's a lot of short-term things we can do with diet and exercise and, herbs and supplements and light therapy and, getting out in the sun and, grounding and all this stuff we can do in the physical realm. But the ultimate usefulness of that stuff that you do in the physical realm is to kind of soften you up, because the physical also feeds back into the soul, into the emotions, into the the thoughts, and all the higher level stuff is affected by what you do physically. So if you get physically stronger, you will be mentally stronger, right? So that's the real purpose of starting with the physical, because it's easy to change the physical, even though a lot of people think it's hard. It's actually much harder to change subtle levels of your being, right? They're just more subtle. They're harder to address and change. And you don't even know if you've properly changed them until you receive a test in the real world that shows that you're now responding to circumstances differently than you did before. So that's the real crucible. That's the real scale. The scale is your life. So if you always got upset and angry when somebody said a certain thing a certain way, and now you fixed that, the only way you'll actually know if you fixed it, you may think you fixed it. You may be like, oh, I'm done with that. I'm not going to get angry anymore. And then the thing happens again, and you explode all over again. That's your sign that you haven't actually fixed it, right? So that's your sign that your liver is still going to be strained, even if you've used, alternative medicine, functional medicine, and detox and coffee enemas and all kinds of stuff to patch up your liver in the short term. If from a higher level, it's still being weighed down upon by your psyche, it will again manifest disease. It'll be worse if you don't take care of it, right? The more you don't take care of the disease in the present, the worse it gets in the future. And again, worse is kind of maybe the wrong word. It gets louder. It's a messenger from yourself. You don't understand that it's a messenger to you, right? So it's like an emissary or an ambassador from you, right? And if you kill it, if you use modern medicine to cover it up with steroids or something, you're basically sticking it in a dungeon somewhere and stuffing a sock in its mouth and tying it up so it can't talk to you anymore. It can't deliver the message. So this is key to understand all health and disease. The symptoms are the solution, right? There's another way of putting it, that the symptoms you don't like are just your own immune system fighting off the underlying physical cause, which is not the root cause. It's a physical manifestation of the deeper root cause. And at a physical level and every other level, what are those root causes? They get categorized into two main buckets. One are things that harm you, and the other is things that benefit you. So at every level, at your emotional, in your emotional being, in your intellectual being, you can have thoughts that are harmful, right? Or you can have thoughts that are beneficial. You can have beliefs that are harmful or beliefs that are beneficial, emotions that are harmful or emotions that are beneficial. Physical nutrients and toxins, right? Beneficial and harmful. So at the physical level, you've got pathogens, so living things that are harming you, right? Like parasites, so they are toxic to you. And then you have physical toxins that are not alive, like heavy metals, microplastics, pesticides, etc. And then you have nutrients. You have micronutrients, you have macronutrients, you have sunlight, you have grounding. These are all necessary nutrients in the physical realm. So physical energy kind of interchangeable, right? E equals MC squared. So I'm lumping them together. They're part of the physical realm, right? They're not spiritual, right? Energy is not spiritual, right? At least it's not physical energy, right? So the spirit is part of a different realm that's outside the universe, that's connected to the universe, but it's not part of it. So these are some concepts that have to be understood.